Hey everyone. I wanted to go ahead and have a little bit of an interesting discussion regarding some of the news we have seen lately as Monster Energy seems to be trying to take Capcom into court. Not only that, but also trying to take Nintendo to court regarding the Monster trademark, which is probably one of the funniest things we have seen happen in recent years when it comes to trademark law and companies that just simply do not understand not only their audience but their ego and seem to want to go after other companies for just simply using one word. Now, this might have been something that you picked up on a few days ago. A lot of media outlets decided to cover it. I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an opinion on it, only because it's Monster Hunter related in its very own way. Huge shout out to Game Rant and Salam Saldin, who has a pretty good article on their website. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for it, where they kind of compartmentalize pretty much all the information that has happened. So originally what took place here was Automaton here in Japan originally put out an article kind of confirming that Monster Energy had tried to basically take to court, or at the very least try to file a trademark and patent office for the word monster, and created a little bit of a discussion with the Pokemon Company, and of course, I believe Creatures Inc. is what they're called, which of course Nintendo owns a certain percentage of, and of course Capcom when it comes with Monster Hunter. Then of course Joe Merrick of, I believe, Cerebi.net decided to kind of share that, and of course from then everyone kind of picked up on it. So the article originally mentions that Monster Hunter Energy legal companies include Pokemon and Monster Hunter franchises. Monster Hunter files over 100 trademark lawsuits against gaming companies, including Pokemon and Capcom's Monster Hunter franchise. Monster Energy has long set its sights on several companies and filed legal complaints for the word monster in their titles. Amongst the targets are several well-known video game franchises, including Pokemon and Capcom's Monster Hunter. According to the Japanese publication of Automaton, Monster Energy has consistently used the legal tactic to quote-unquote protect its brand. Monster claims that using the word monster in product names may lead to consumer confusion. In the past, Monster Energy has sued over video game companies for the word monster in their titles, including Immortal Phoenix Rising, which was originally called Gods and Monsters. Despite Ubisoft's choice to change the game's name, Monster Energy continued their legal actions, which just kind of goes to showcase how kind of up their butt they actually are. To actually think that anything with the word monster, therefore they happen to own, is pretty ridiculous. If Nintendo came out after pretty much anyone who has anything named Nintendo, well, this channel will not be called Nintendo Sphere, which is just kind of ridiculous on its own right. They also mentioned in the article that according to Automaton, Monster Energy has asked the Japanese Patent Office to cancel trademark registrations for other companies, including Pokemon and, of course, Monster Hunter, whose names feature some variant of monster. So they're not even just going after the word monster, just a variant of monster, which is hilarious. Plus, Monster Energy objected to the use of the title Monster Hunter Cross and Monster Hunter as a brand, and specifically targeted Pokemon X and Y as well as Sun and Moon. The free-to-play mobile games Monster Strike received similar criticism from Monster Energy. Monster Energy's trademarks objection date back to several years, with Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon and Monster Hunter being released around a decade ago. However, the company's legal battle with independent developer Glowstick Entertainment over the title of the 2020 game Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals suggests that Monster will continue to pursue legal action into the future. Interestingly, Monster Energy's legal objection goes beyond the word monster. According to Automaton, the company once filed a request with the U.S. Patent Office against in Toronto Raptors, an NBA team, over their Monster Claw emblem. That's just really funny because I actually know what they're talking about. I know a little bit about basketball. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. And it's just a raptor claw. There's nothing really, it's not even green. So it's just really silly to even go after that. While the trademark objection are not uncommon in the gaming industry, Monster Energy's continued legal actions against the use of the word monster in product names raises a question about the company's motives. Some have accused Monster Energy of being a trademark troll, using legal actions to stifle competition. The use of popular franchise names as well as smaller independent games as targets for trademark lawsuits has sparked concerns among gamers and developers alike. Although Monster Energy promotes several games, many argue that the legal actions have little to do with protecting consumers from confusion, that are more instead an attempt for the legal muscle to limit competition in the market. In response to these objections, companies like Capcom have defended their use of the word monster in their product names, citing the long-standing use of the term and their commitment to creating unique and original content. While the legal battles between Monster Energy and gaming industries continue, it remains to be seen how these trademark disputes will ultimately be resolved. And that is the biggest takeaway here. Not all of these have closed. A lot of them are still pending. Obviously, you would imagine that a judge, and regardless of whatever nation we're talking about, whether it is overseas in Japan, whether it is in Europe, or whether it is here in the United States, looks at this lawsuit, realizes that the word monster is kind of unique in its own right, and no one really gets to own it because it's a word that has been around for long before any of these companies existed. Even the Game Freak or whatever, or Creatures Inc. For Pokemon. So therefore, everyone has fair use of the word. No one's really going to complain about it. Monster Energy is just being silly. You would imagine that would be the logical step. However, as they mentioned in the article, there is some legal muscle behind that. There is money being involved, being thrown around. And for a company which, like I said at the top of the video, Monster Energy does not seem to understand their audience, they're going after gamers. Monster Energy is not really being targeted towards like a trucker in, a highway who's exhausted, therefore he needs to drink a Monster Energy drink. I'm sure that's part of their audience that they're trying to targeting, but those people are usually going to drink some more, higher caffeine, smaller, type of energy drink, or one of those like little bottles or whatever. Whereas like energy, drinks like Monster are usually going after gamers and their gamer audience. Well, guess what? Those same gamers that you're trying to sell energy drinks to are going to play Pokemon. They're going to play Monster Hunter. They're going to play a monster taming game. They're going to play Wild Hearts, even though I'm sure Wild Hearts has nothing to do with any of this, but it's still a monster taming game. I've actually mocked their entire developer quotes when they refuse to say Monster Hunter, but they say monster taming, which is really funny. So at the end of the day, I don't necessarily understand what the reason for Monster Energy is to really go after these companies, other than to kind of just be, like they said in the article, a trademark troll, but more importantly, just kind of piss off a bunch of people, and people you don't really want to upset. You don't want to cross these companies. And once, some of these settlements are, finally, lifted, or at the very least not pursued by Monster Energy, hopefully we can put an end to this ridiculous silliness, which of course a lot of articles were written on this. Huge shout out once again to Game Rant for putting up this article from Salam Saldin. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.